Hey everybody, Dan the Chairman here for Civilization 5 Brave New World. It's a map game of sorts. The next one in the series, Civ 6, has since come out, and I want to showcase some of the neat things of 5 before we move on to 6. Before I even open up 6, I haven't even installed it yet. So, right now for options, we're just gonna pop in, show off a few things here for those who may be playing and seeing. Yeah, sure, why not? So that'll be next time. Audio options. Music is off because YouTube tends to block these videos if you have the default music on, and that's rude, so let's not bother with that. So, single player, and let's set up a game. Just hitting play now, I don't remember what the default setup is, so we're gonna hit advanced setup. I'm gonna be random, it's gonna be 6 of us, yeah. For the map sizes, standard is absolutely gargantuan. Large is next to impossible. Huge is, well, as big as it can possibly. The game could almost take it, and that's still really big. I like small, unless I'm doing something gimmicky. Small is fine. Difficulties. You got itty bitty baby working your way up to warlord, prince, king. Let's put some music on while we're. There we go. There's something in the background there, softly. If you're just starting off, I would recommend Prince. The game doesn't go easy on you, but it also... the computer's on the same step as you. Hard, very hard, Immortal, Deity. The computer cheats on Deity. The computer cheats on Immortal. The computer cheats on Emperor. Just how hard do you want them to cheat? We're gonna go Emperor for now. Keep it nice and relaxed. You could slow down the map games depending on how well you like the pace. I'm gonna keep it on standard for now. Marathon if you're crazy. And yeah, we'll go random on the rest of these. Random world. World age has to do with how mountainous it is, I believe. Temperature is the kind of biomes on it, whether it be desert, tropical. I guess rainfall has to do with like floodplains and what have you. Never really thought of that. What kind of sea we're gonna see. And we'll go standard for resources. Victory types, there's 5 ways to win. Really, there's 4 ways to win, and there's a timer at the end for score. Score is made up, and it doesn't matter. Science, domination, cultural. We'll go over each of these as we go along. And you could tick some of these for more interesting... what have you. More interesting gameplay, more different gameplay. We're just gonna leave those off. And we'll start with Pangaea. There are many different kinds of map types. Continents. Like if I hop back here, we see the main types here. We got continents like, you know, Earth, actual Earth, which is huge. Fractal's kind of neat. We'll get a chance to play through all these. We'll start with Pangaea. Alright, we're gonna go randoms, and let's roll this, spin the wheel.
Your men stand proudly to greet you, great Attila, grand warrior and ruler of the Hunnic Empire. Together with your brother Bleda, you expanded the boundaries of your empire, becoming the most powerful and frightening force of the 5th century. You bowed the Eastern Roman emperors to your will, and took kingdom after kingdom along the Danube and Nisava rivers. As the sovereign ruler of the Huns, you marched your army across Europe into Gaul, planning to extend your already impressive lands all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. Your untimely death led to the quick disintegration and downfall of your empire, but your name and deeds have created an everlasting legacy for your people. Fearsome General, your people call for the recreation of a new Hunnic Empire, One which will make the exploits and histories of the former seem like the faded dreamings of a dying sun. Will you answer their call to regain your rightful prominence and glory? Will you mount your steadfast steed and lead your armies to victory? Will you build a civilization that stands the test of time?
Alright, so... Hey, welcome. So, here you have a little intro. The narrator is very excited about it all. And every civ gets a bonus here. That's all listed out, and two unique things to them. So for Attila here, he can burn down cities at twice the speed of others, meaning you suffer less penalties while it's on fire. You borrow city names from other in-game civs. Alright, that's kind of bland. You start with animal husbandry, so you get a little extra, and an extra production per pasture. We'll go over what that means later. Here we have what's possibly one of the most powerful units in the game, in the early game, the horse archer. And we'll go over why they're so important later, and a battering ram. So let's begin. So immediately you'll see that there is a lot going on. There we go. So, let's just start. We have... One thing you could do, and I need to point out right at the start, this help button, that's not the options. The help is the encyclopedia of the game. So, anything you want to see... Anything you want to see in the game, there are usually entire things written down about it. For example, let's take a look at our horse archer. There we go. Notice the chat was not filling in properly. There we go. So, for the horse archer, they start with accuracy 1, which is an upgrade that every unit can get. But let's get started on the actual game. So, green is food, orange is hammer. The orange hammer, this is production. You'll notice that even on Emperor, the other 5 civs, they're already starting off with bonuses that I do not have. So you want to take your warrior usually always. Just go wandering about. Make sure this is actually where you want to place your city, because city placement is very important. This is kind of a weak spot to be in. If this looks all too confusing, you could pop open down here on the bottom right strategic view, and that gives you more of a board game look to it. So, if you when I mouse over it, you'll see above a unit needs orders, you'll see wheat, plains. That is just a single tile buff, and I'll lose that buff if I were to put the settler here and throw down the city. Sitting here will give me the spices. Moving down, desert tiles, as you'll see, there's no... Yeah, so if you throw the city down on the wheat, you lose the buff for the wheat. So I don't want to move my city up. The desert is almost entirely useless, unless you do something very specific, so we want to avoid the desert. Especially since our very something specific here, as Attila is going to be running everyone over with tons of horses. Sadly, we don't see any horses here yet, but this is a fine spot. We'll throw down the city here. So as soon as you throw down a city, the game will not let you progress. So see, we threw down our city, and we're just barely above the others, which are going to rocket up once they throw down their city. So in the top, we have how much science is being produced. Science is used for research, for technology. And you cannot progress until after you have, unless you purposely go out of your way to change it in the options, you cannot progress until you have chosen something for your cities to do and something to research. So we start right off the bat with horses, being able to see horses, but there are no horses in this general area, which is disappointing as the Huns. And next is gold, and how much is coming in per turn, up or down. You have your number of trade routes. Trade routes bring in money and or research, or science. Happiness. If your gold goes down too low, if your gold's in the negative and you run out of cash, then your units will start to leave. The only unit we have right now are the warriors. And if you right-click anything you have, it'll pop open the Civilopedia page for it. They're the basic units. Just large men with a stick. And you get some historical info of how these were actually used in real life. What they'll upgrade to, when you could stop building them, how far they can move, everything you need to know right here. It costs 40 hammers to make a warrior. Happiness, how happy your civilization is. Every turn, this gets added or subtracted to this counter here. This is your golden age. When you hit that cap of 500, your golden age will commence, and for X amount of turns, you could read there, everything gets gold and production, culture, all gets a little better. Speaking of culture, right here, we get our next policy in 25 turns, because we're getting 1 per turn. Culture is your backbone of building a powerful empire. And we'll get to culture when we get there. Here, the briefcases. This is for art, for culture victories. This is a very annoying and tedious process that I haven't engaged in too much. We'll give it a try one of these turns. Not with the Huns. Bird is for religion. How much faith you have. And the only strategic resource we know about are horses, but we have 0 horses. Sad days. So, let's pop open now. You can open the entire research tree and plan your moves all the way to the end of the game. However, one fun thing to do is just lower the difficulty. Click here and just go with it. Let's not do that. Unless I'm surrounded by a lot of hills, which I am not, I usually start with pottery. Pottery can give us a shrine, which will increase our religion, and the granary, which gives us more food and boosts the wheat we have already. So, yeah, pottery is a good way to start. Your other choices are animal husbandry, which we start with. See, archery, man with bow. We'll eventually want archery very soon for the horse archer. However, we don't have any horses. And mining for actually chopping down trees and building a mine. We have barely any mines, and we don't want to chop down these trees. Not yet. Now, production. Here in our home place, we are making 5 hammers. Remember, I said 40 hammers to build a warrior, so everything you build is free production-wise. It just takes time based on hammers. So there's a few things you can make off the bat. Settlers are just like we had at the beginning. We makes another place. We probably will make one of those. We're gonna get most of our cities other ways. Workers improve the tiles. Caravan is from up here. There's nowhere to trade with, is what it's telling us. So we're all alone in this world, as far as we know. Just us and 5 unmet players. Scouts, which is what we're going to build. Warriors and a monument. Monument increases culture. It gives us +2 culture, which is huge, but you only have 1. So you figure you can go monument first. I always go scout first. Good to look around, see what's around you. This purple hex here is the next tile the game is going to push you towards. Every time you get X amount of culture, you expand your borders. So it's going to grab that one next. Alright. Hit next turn when we're all done. Everyone else has thrown down their city. 4 of them have pretty good city placements. 1 disagrees with the city placement. The one that's apparently not so good score-wise. I ignore this. This is here for just to show how far we've come. Alright, so we're gonna take our wards. We're gonna continue to explore. Now, when exploring flatlands, if you remember here, you can move 2. Hills cost 2 to move on. But since the flatlands only cost 1, you can get around this by just using 1 turn to move normal on a flatland, and then 1 turn to climb up the hill. And that way you can still get up the hill, and you have better vision to see what's going on around here. When looking at Attila's court here, you can see our little Hunnic buildings here. The one is how much population is in here. I think it's by the millions. So there's 1 million people in Attila's court. It takes 7 turns to get 1 more person. The name, the defense strength of our city. And we have 4 turns until this is made. This itty bitty icon here, that is for the scout. Alright, next turn. The first few turns of every game is always going to go nice and slow like this. Hello. So we have met Buenos Aires. We're the first one to meet them, so we know no one else is right here. They give us $30 for it. Nice. When it becomes now, yeah, sure. If anyone's super their friend, then it'll say that here. They are cultured, so if you're their friend, they'll give you culture. They're a friendly one. Everyone has a different personality. The civilizations, the city-states, they're civilizations that are here, but they're not playing to win. They're just playing to be here. They are very Switzerland. They're just kind of here to enjoy the ride. Now, within their borders, they have pearls and horses. So if you were best friends with them, they would give you horses and pearls. And there you can see they have horses. Those are just sheep. Those are just like our wheat. Temporary bonuses. There's 4 horses. And you can tell it's a city-state because it's checkered. Notice we have a bold line of red. They are checkered purple and black. Alright, next turn. You could set it up so it puts you to the next turn once everyone's done. I don't like that option because sometimes you still want to look things over. We're not on a timer or anything, so just take your time. So we found some ancient ruins. So here in the ancient ruins, pop this open, we can see it a little better here. Something wonderful, hopefully, is going to be right here. So you'll see the score start to rocket. So we're just going to take our 2 turns to hop up here. Find the Cerro de Potosi. Has increased by happiness. So you get 1 happiness just for finding a natural wonder. So right now we're getting 9 from playing on Emperor. We are getting 1 from finding this natural wonder, and we're losing 4. 3 from the city, and 1 from our population. People are very unhappy. We'll talk about them in a minute. Then we're going to slide over here. So we found a map. So all we found was the outline of the area, which happened to have the Grand Mesa. The Grand Mesa, which is down here. I wonder, I've never checked. Does the civ... Oh, let's just close all of these. Are the natural wonders in this? They are. Located in southern Bolivia, the mountain of Potosi produced nearly all of the silver mined by the Spanish during their imperial days. Once removed from the mountain, it was taken by llama and mule to the coast, where it was then loaded onto treasure ships, sailing back to Europe. Nearly 41,000 tons of pure silver were mined over the course of 200 years, 8,200 of which went directly to the Spanish crown. After 1800, the main silver mines were depleted, but the mining of Potosi still continues today. Some for silver, but now mostly for tin. You can't cross over it. And if it was within your borders, you would get 10 gold from it. Well, that makes sense. And what was the other one we just found? The Grand Mesa. The Grand Mesa, the Grand Mesa, is a large geologic formation in Colorado, the United States of America, rising some 5,000 feet above the surrounding territory and with an area of 500 square miles, is the largest mesa in the world. The ground mesa has a layer of volcanic basalt on top, which resists erosion. It did not so much rise into the air as it remained at its original height as the surrounding terrain was eroded by the action of the Colorado and Gunnison rivers. And if it's within your border, you get 2 hammer, 3 gold. It's fine. And we know Quebec City's down here, so we could head that way to pick up that 30 gold if no one else sees them first. Now here we have our first adversary. A barbarian camp. The Styx, that's their camp. If I could get my warriors into that camp, they would disperse and be gone. Oh, there's another city-state here we can see from the little tick marks there. You could see we could see a little better in regular view than strategic. Neat. These are AI computers that they don't have a civ, they're just gonna be rude boys, and probably come out here and fight my warriors. And if we look up the brute, they have 8 combat. They are equivalent to my warrior. It's just other men who have large stick. It was coined by the Greek. Barbarians were anyone who wasn't Greek. Alright, next turn. Okay, so they did not come after me, so that's good. Now, if I were to walk next to them, I would be in their area. Units have an area of control. If I were to step in here, I would lose my next turn. My next movement, so I wouldn't be able to then move away. So I have a choice to make. Do I move towards the warriors, or do I go around the mountain? They're not going to bother us. Never mind, they do not have zone of control. Maybe other units do. They do not. Now, the scout. The scout does not care about the cost, the extra movement costs for hills, forests, rivers. They go wherever they want. However, they are itty-bitty baby 5 shields instead of 8. They do not fight. All they do, they move, they wander. And that's what we're going to go have them do forever, until they die. Now we're going to build that monument. Getting that boost of that culture in 8 turns will be really good for us. Alright, so here we can see we are surrounded by places that we can only move once on. So let's head down. What fortune. Alright, next turn. Yeah, next turn we'll be able to go into the desert and grab those ruins. Now, the map of the area... Hey, Franker Z. Because we have our warrior scouting, and it's a Pangaea map, so I'm going to run into everyone eventually anyway. So here on Emperor, I need to get the ball rolling, especially if I'm going to capitalize on it being Attila. Which I haven't seen any horses out this direction. I'm not gonna be able to snatch those from Buenos Aires. Actually, there are horses right here. So if I plop a second city right here, we'll have horses, 4 horses. That's more than enough horses to defeat every civ with it around me. So down here, this is probably one of the better... Ah, I like this guy. It's gonna be a shame to have to murder you. So we have just encountered Pachacuti. When you first meet someone, you can do a variety of things. It also says how they feel about you and other things that have happened. If I was being very aggressive, I could immediately go to war. We're not ready for that just yet. Instead, let's see. If they had writing already, then I could accept an embassy there. But we can see at least we're on even footing with Pachacuti right now. Demanding, there's really no point in demanding. If they're super scared of you, you could demand something of them. You could discuss them, things like joint war. You could tell the whole world that he's a meanie. And if people like you, they'll also hate him. If people like him, they'll also hate you. You could say, hey, let's be buddies, or stop settling right next to me. For now, we're just going to say goodbye. Now, as I was saying here, in the ruins, you found a free person. Now, the way you actually get pop open up in top right, citizen management, the way you actually get food and hammers and all that, when we had just the one person, they were working, I guess, this tile. The second one is then going to go... The computer will do this automatically unless you tell it to do it focusing, or if you manually put them on something. The computer's usually pretty good at this, depending on where your city is. Right now, they're going to focus getting more food to get more people, to get more of these tiles activated. And that's perfectly fine. If I was running out of cash, I would plop someone here to get that extra gold. We're not there yet. If I was rushing something out, then absolutely I would go production. So we met Pachacuti. We didn't find his lance, but we did find his warrior out scouting. Click on your unit, left click. Right click brings up the encyclopedia. Left click to focus on your character. Wow, 3 of them. What luck. Nuts. Alright, never mind.
Mina ngingushaka wakwaZulu. Ngiyinsizwa yamabutho. Ungakusho okufanayo nawe.
So, Shaka here. Yes, welcome to another Brave New World. Shaka here is probably the most powerful civ in the entire game. I don't think I would strongly agree that his MP warrior, which is what he is the most powerful civ in the entire game. I may not be able to bum rush him down with my horse archers. Venice is a fun one. Hopefully I'll get Venice in another run. He's getting a lot of gold per turn. So what I'm going to do is he's not usually aggressive. If he is, I'll be able to handle him way before he gets his special unit. So, there are set prices that the computer AI always thinks things are worth. I'll give him my embassy so he can see where I live, and I'll get 1 gold per turn from him. He appears to like that. And that'll make him happy. As he takes that ruins that I was right about to grab. Oh well. Alright, we'll go this way then. And the beauty that we are practically the same color.
That fashioneth it. What makest thou?
Alright, pottery is done. Well, I have a decision to make now. I haven't met Quebec City, so let's pop it here. Now, because Pachacuti there definitely met Quebec City first, we're getting only 15 bucks. It doesn't keep going down, it's going to stay at 15 going forward for anyone else who meets them. If we end up fighting, this is going to be very annoying. How different of color is that for you guys? They're practically the same. If they get any workers out, absolutely I'm going to yoink them. The AIs typically take a while to get workers out, but the plan is, usually my game plan is to send the workers out, cycle back, and then by the time they get their way back, usually there's a worker for them to grab. Alright, and someone lives up here. Alright, nice. That's a nice amount of gold. Alright, so because... this is tricky. So we have a decision to make. To actually get these spices to add to our happiness total, we need calendar. But I believe in order to actually grab that, we're going to need mining so we can chop down the trees around it. At the same time, with the Zulu right there, we could use archery. But we're not... I don't think we're going to war yet. Let's grab mining for now. I lied. Let's grab calendar for now. Just get that ready. And this is... actually...
เราพ่อของรามคำแหงกษัตริย์แห่งสยามนับเป็นเกียรติอย่างยิ่งที่ท่านเดินมาที่เยี่ยมประเทศสยามของเรา
The cool thing is that they hired people from all over the world to speak these languages. So Ram Kong Yang, I'm just gonna butcher every other name that we've come across here. He's a very peaceful guy. He is going to take a monopoly on all the city-states.
เรากำลังฟังอ
He
ยู่
does not have writing yet. You need writing to have an embassy. He is swimming in cash. We might need to kill him if we're going to have a chance of having any of the city-states like us. Alright, now the warriors at this point, they're going to... If you ever want to see how far a person could go, holding down right-click on a unit, but don't move it, it'll show you how far they can go. And that works in either... Yes, peaceful negotiations. So if you right-click, it'll show you how far they can go so you don't go, oh, I thought I could move there. So that's a really nice touch. We're going to start to have the warriors double back, because there's probably a barbarian camp like right here that's about to start sending soldiers at me. And I want to see if I can do some crime down here. So we might, let's head them down this way now. For a second city...
조선의 궁궐에 당도한 것을 환영하오 낯선이여 나는 나의 훌륭한 백성들을 굽어 살피는 깨우친 임금 세종이요.
I wonder if that was all he said, because that was a lot of talking. So Sejong here, he's one of the top science people. One of the top science civs. Yeah, of course he has writing by now. Hey buddy, let's I'll take that 1 gold a turn from you. The pious. He went religion. For a second city, we have a few good options here. You can plop down one here on the hill to get all this. You can plop one up here, get the lake and the chocolate. Yeah, I'll probably start with 6 after doing quite a few of these Civ 5 runs. I don't want to forget my 5 before we move on to 6. We'll make that decision in 4 turns. Alright, so monuments up. Now, because Sejong's going pious, because he went pious, then I can actually see what they have done. If we go to... which is it? Not victory. There are a lot of charts and things you can read here. One of these has, yeah, diplomatic overview. So diplomatic overview, global politics. Hey, no one's got anything. Why are you the pious? So you can get an overview of everybody right in here. Typically, the second thing I'll grab is a shrine. But since we have that wheat that isn't upgraded, though, it's still worth it. If we can get on this sooner than others, then the religion will be helpful for getting more units out. Yeah, and that's why the warrior is doubling back. Alright, first taste of combat. Warriors punching at Quebec City. Now, if you're standing within the borders of a city-state, you're not allowed to walk within the borders of another civ. You have to be at war for them to do that. Did the music stop? Hold on. No, it's still going. It's just soft. If you stay within the borders of a city-state, they will slowly get angry at you. And here we're 0 of 30 influence. However, they're asking me, they want us to defeat the barbarian units inside, so if they beat up these warriors, I'll finish them off and get the credit for it. Future runs will most likely, I'll turn on quick movement and turn off the battle animation. But it's here for now. Wandering through the jungle. Well, forest. Good, so now we can just... Game? Okay. Strange. And for that, we got 12 points for defeating a group of barbarians there, so you're welcome. One thing you could do as soon as you meet them, pledge to protect them. And you'll get 5 free points. I don't typically do that with anyone I find along my way, because I'm then going to ruin that by taking their worker the moment they make one. Hey, Ife. Oh, this is one of the best ones to find. Okay. We gave them 30, and because we found them first, they give us 8 faith. If we found them second, they give us 4. So that's really good. Because you only need 10 to get a pantheon, which is not quite a religion, but just about a religion. Which means we only need 2 turns, and it's not exact. 10 is the minimum, and then once you hit 10, you get a dice roll. And the higher up you go, I guess the more weighted the dice are for you to actually get it. Random numbers are a disease. It should not be random. Culture is not random. As soon as you hit 25, you get the policy. But this plague of random numbers has found its way into Civ 5 right here for no reason. But just keep that in mind. If you hit 10, you may not get it right away. Alright, so now the big thing that changes a lot of your game is the social policy tree. Stellaris 100% ripped this straight from Civilization. Every time this ticks up, you get to pick one more of these. Piety is, well, I think it's just bad. I've never gone Piety and had it be helpful. Religion focused. And Liberty is not great because you end up staying very small until Liberty boosts up. You get a free worker, which is pretty good, and you get a free settler, and that's all right. But otherwise, like, the boosts in here are nowhere near as powerful as tradition. Even once they change the tradition tree. I was thinking of going Honor because we're the Huns. If we were Genghis Khan or the Zulu, I'd definitely go Honor and just rampage through everyone. Because we're the Huns sitting near the Zulu, I'm thinking tradition, we go for the long run. It says it's best for small empires because the boosts are only for the first 4 cities as written here. And the unlocking, the bottom paragraph there, gives you something in the first 4. You could go as big as you want with tradition, that's fine. It's even good for 2 or 3 cities. So we're just going to unlock this. That gives us 3 extra culture for free. If you were going wonders at all, then aristocracy is great. I suppose if you were going that way of playing where you plop down a city every 4 feet, this could be good for the happiness and the tons of cities. I don't typically see that kind of gameplay. Even on my warmongers, I'll go tradition. If you don't get this number going, it won't matter. So now we're up to 6. Only 4 turns for the next one. Alright, so the problem with plopping a city down here is now that I think we're too close to this one. I think it has to be 4 squares away, 4 hexes away. So here would be fine for the capital, too close to Ife now. So I think our second city goes up here, by the chocolate. I just wander around, wait for the... Just continue wandering about, wait for the worker to pop out.
So teach us to number our days, so that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom.
Alright, calendar is made. Once I ever have a worker, I'll be able to construct a plantation on the spices. And now that we have that, we could also build a stoneworks, which is a building that goes in your capital that makes things like marble more powerful. And we could build our first wonder, Stonehenge. We build this, it does cost 185 hammers. But it gives us 5 faith in an engineer point, and I'll get to great people when we get there. However, we only make 6 hammers right now, so 185 means we're going to be out of commission for a really long time making anything else. I don't typically go for Stonehenge unless I get an amazing start. Alright, next up, let's grab... It's time for archery. Barbarians are starting to encroach on my land. Now, they will rarely ever attack your city itself. But what they can do is, if you have improved any of your tiles here, they can burn down that tile improvement and make you have to go redo it. Or if your worker is out alone, they can steal your worker and they'll drag him back to camp. Our city's defense for that is within within 2 tiles, your city can launch a ranged attack, like we saw with Quebec City down there. So, for the attack calculations, you have how strong you are, how strong they are. It would show the red on both sides if it was a melee attack, but because they don't get to attack back because we are ranged, then they will get the extra. They will only be taking damage. Any bonuses and penalties are listed below that, such as our 20% extra damage, and that is about how much damage. Notice that it's not a number bar; it's just a range of red. That's about how much damage it's going to do. It could do a little more, it could do a little less. So we threw some rocks from the city all the way over there, passed over the woods. Very impressive people here at Attila's court. And we can poke them and hope they bugger off. They can't hurt us right now. Oh sweet, ruins. So it's looking like I'm not on the ocean. No, that is in fact a lake. I thought it was the ocean. I assumed this was the ocean, because I did not mouse over properly. Alright, so we're only on a lake here. I would like a city on the ocean. This is all desert, so it probably won't be my city. I will be taking someone else's. Someone else's. Lakes are good like that. 2 food. And it's a nice, like, the game looks really nice. It's a nice water effect. We'll just continue to poke at them. Now they're taking a while to get that worker out. Ah, thanks, Franker Z. More food in a lake than on the ocean. Don't know if that makes sense in real life, but it's there. Alright, so we finished our shrine. And we are 4 turns away from archery. Now up here in the top left, you can also change what is being shown up here. I typically always leave it on tech. In the middle of a war, I might have it on unit list, because this can get quite expansive. City list, I don't use this, but it's a quick click over to all your list of cities and how they're doing. Resources could be good if you're trying to figure out what you can trade away. We don't have any resources yet, and for whatever reason, you could see your great person count here instead of having to click on every city and manually looking at that. We're 4 turns away from archery, so we can get... It will remember the 4 turns you saved. So I'm going to put 4 turns into a granary and then switch over to an archer. You don't lose the hammers.
The haft of the arrow.
And we found a technology, which is sad that we were only 4 turns away.
We often give our enemies the means of our own destruction.
It just finished that up. Now, it could have been really lucky. Like, I've had times where I finish pottery, step on it, and it immediately gives me writing. And that's the only chance you can go for certain wonders that everything and everybody covets all the time. So, there's archery. There's my one turn into the granary. Let's get an archer out here. Archers act just like the city. They shoot 2 tiles, and they don't take melee damage back. Now, I'm not going to shoot that warrior. I'm going to let him kind of bugger back and forth. And I'm going to let put aside. So you see how this is in the red slightly? They're very upset. Gold roads. Sounds like they would get broken down pretty quickly. I'm going to let them be mad at me because they're going to be very upset once I do the move. And we have enough... Okay, so right at 10, we got the Pantheon. So, we pop open the religion tab. I don't have a religion. But if I go to world religions, no one's found one yet. We go back to that... Here, global politics. Here is where we would see what everyone picked. So Pachacudi and Sejong went piety. If I was on this list, I don't know why they wouldn't put you on the list too, just so you can compare. But mine would say Attila, Tradition 1. So they went Piety 1, meaning that they were able to build a shrine in half the usual time. So instead of spending 7 turns on it, they would have spent 4. And because we met Ife, we still beat them to it. So now we get to pick any one of these, and as long as we get a religion, this will then stay for the rest of the game. If I was forced to be on the desert, I would 100% pick a desert, the desert folklore, and just get at least 1 faith from every desert tile. Combined with a certain wonder later in the game, this can be amazing. Now, for what we actually have here, we have spices, we have marble, eventually have chocolate. There are certain ones here that are way better than others. Like if you're trying to go big, like really tall, fertility rights is not bad. Production from fishing boats. We're not going to have any fishing boats because we're on a lake, not the ocean. And on Pangaea, we don't really need to be on the ocean. We don't have any wine or incense. Despite wanting horses, we don't really have pastures. If we were Egypt, I would have grabbed this. The extra 15%, just get all the wonders all the time. There are some really good ones here. Culture. If you were next to a jungle, like if my city was over here, this one would be amazing. Like, this one with Hiawatha is ridiculous. It's almost impossible to stop him at that point. If you were planning on really expanding, Sacred Waters, not terrible. If we had any of these, like, we have Sun God. Like, we could get an extra food from our 1 wheat, but eh. So really, well, God King... If you don't plan for your religion to take off, like if you have 2 other AIs here who are both going religion, like Sejong and Pachacudi, my religion's probably not going to get anywhere. I'm just going to use my little bit of religion to buy some units. You can recruit them with faith. So, if you're planning on your religion not going anywhere, this is fine. If you're planning on just running over your enemies, like if I was Genghis Khan or the Zulu, or if I was the Huns without Shaka Zulu right next to me, then I would go God King. Get that quick early buff, and then move on. So we're going to do this because we have no other good option. And I kind of want this... I want this map to end quick. At least I want Zulu to end quickly. We gotta wipe the Zulu. Because everyone else is gonna be sitting back waiting for us later. So now we got an extra point to faith, culture, gold, science. Just 1 to everything. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So now I'm going to tell it to just save up for a great profit. So when I have 200, then I'll get a chance at a great profit. I once had it go up to almost 300 before it finally gave me one, because random numbers are terrible. But there you go. And this is a little symbol telling me that I got the Pantheon. I'm not going to poke him. In case this guy ever makes it back, I want him to get the kill. And you're not bothering me right now anyway. So in 6 turns, the archer will kill you if the worker doesn't pop out first. So next research, we'll go mining. In case I do need to chop down this tree to get to the spices. I forget. Stand there just in case. This way we can keep an eye on them. Alright, next one's up. So units standing in a city, they don't cost anything. Every unit has a maintenance cost. So we're currently spending 1 on unit maintenance. And that is the scout and the warrior. Maybe the scout's free? Maybe they just both cost half. Who knows? I'm sure someone knows. And cities with a garrison get even stronger. So pretty good for defense, good overall, and you can plop us combined with certain other ones is amazing. Like cities with a garrison, but the garrison's free. So for a free unit of any kind, just toss a scout in every city. You get happiness and culture. So tradition and honor go really well together. Honor goes really well with anything if you're going fighting. So we'll get to the next ones when we get there. That one's kind of a wasted one at the start. That's why they redid it. They redid the tree. Oh, hey, Hong Kong. So we met Hong Kong. We got 3 gold. They redid the tree. This used to be the one that nobody ever picked. So now they made it stem off of this. So you have to fight your way through a good one and then a blah one to get to the good stuff. So 30 more bucks. Excellent. We'll use cash eventually. So this has stone. Stone is not a luxury. Stone is just another single tile improvement. A lot of oases around here. Not cool. Very forgiving desert. How much Civ have I played? Steam would say near hundreds of maybe 1,000 hours. I could check really quick. Steam is up. 672 hours. Yeah. I usually play on much higher difficulties pretty quickly, but this first one, that'd be a bit of a tutorial before we really take off the wheels. Interesting that it grabbed the wheat next. Yeah, do what you gotta do. Keep an eye on you. I'm watching you. Turn 24, you still haven't popped out a worker. Dejong? So he gave me re-access this. I have an archer pup coming up in 3 turns, and I want the archer to get the experience. Your city doesn't get experience for killing things. And because I don't have a worker, they're just standing there. These 2 men are taunting me. And I'm standing up there, shouting at them that I am farting in their general direction. So I had told them to heal earlier, and they gained X amount of health per turn. So it just re-gave me control now that they're fully healed. Now I told them to stay alert and don't tell me about this guy until someone else pokes their head out. Like, until this, he can see an enemy unit. And I'm just going to come over here manually and poke ahead. Korea is now made their city harder to siege. That's not a bad choice if you're right next to someone like Attila or Genghis or Shaka or Bismarck even. Alright, and every now and then, it'll just throw up a list. The number of social policies. Everyone has 2. Pangu LV. Is that supposed to be pronounced penguin love? So I recently got Civ 6, and so I want to do all the Civ 5. I'm going to get Civ 5 fully out of my system with a bunch of games before I start learning it. Alright, Pangu. Welcome.
Amma bay kulkandirde kubay zarira kula saburiga masite tabasi matkaldadi.
Because I hear a lot of people are very strongly right down the middle of Civ 5 versus Civ 6. Definitely doing a bunch of Civ 5 first, and then we'll learn Civ 6. So Askia the Pious. Everyone's going religion here. It's interesting. He seeks peace with all. This looks like a very peaceful land behind him. I will say, the fire effect looks really good. Look at that. Happiness is one of the trickiest things to balance. The only one thing I really hate about Civ 5 is the change of Brave New World to the culture system. When we attempt a culture victory, I think I've only gotten it with Gandhi. It can be really irritating, and it would be impossible to do a multiplayer. So that's a pretty dangerous way to hold your sword, Askia. These things are usually kept very sharp, and you're just resting it on your shoulder. You drag that thing at all when you lift it, and you're going to slice your shoulder apart. Anyway, so, yeah, embassy for 30 turns. That'll do. Civ 5 100% advertises, encourages just playing tall. I will agree with that. To go wide is a challenge. I've done it, it's hard. Oh, he wants to do the same thing. Sounds good. Now, because I don't have writing, they're not going to ask for they can't ask for my embassy. Which is good, because I don't want to give them I don't want their embassy. I don't care where they are. Right now, I want that cash money.
The meek shall inherit the earth, but not its mineral rights.
I'll continue wandering around. You could also, if you're... Once you've seen all you need to see, you could take a unit, click here for extra, and just tell it to auto-explore. Just go. You could also delete it. If you're within your territory, you can get gold for it. So there's a slight way to make things for free and then sell it afterwards. You are taking a while to make your worker. You know what? Go see if Quebec City's made theirs yet. Alright, so next up, we've founded all of the originals. We were given animal husbandry. Usually I don't get this for a long time. Just because I don't usually use horses. Horses are usually not part of my game plan. So next up, let's look around. Do we have any jungle? We have no jungle to worry about. So we don't need bronze working just yet. If we were going to go punch someone, we'd grab the battering ram. So let's grab writing. We'll need a library soon enough. Now, we have gold. The things we can do with gold. Here on the production screen is what we've been building. Here, you can buy, just flat out, you can buy things. settlers, workers, archers, granary. If it reaches the point where sometimes city-states just don't make... City-states just don't make a worker in time, I will just buy one. I'm not going to spend 17, 18 turns making a worker. There we go. The moment I walked away. Alright, so here's mine next turn. And so now this archer here, just pop open our new archer. So they cannot melee attack. If someone punches them, they can only shoot right next to each other. Archers are my favorite units in the game. It's sad that late game they disappear, but the graphics for people standing in a city are not great. They just literally superimpose them on top of the city instead of having them surrounded or give them a square to stand in. But it's there. Hello, Songhai? Okay, I'm gonna be able to squeeze through here. Alright, we seem to be in the center of this Pangaea. Alright, so we have our archer out. If I was looking to settle, I would grab... I do want a second city of my own. And I want to throw it right here. Grab this hill, grab the chocolate, grab the lake, just the bananas, everything right here. That'll probably be the only other city I settle. Before I do that, I want a second archer. Just so I can have one in that other city. Because there's camps here, and I'm not going to clear these camps anytime soon. You get 25 bucks for clearing a camp, and if you're certain civs, you get a bonus to that too. You just hang out. Now, this is very important the order you do this in. You have to declare war. Alright, so he's under the protection of Korea and the Inca, so I'm about to piss off these two. So yes, I'm going to go to war. I'm going to manually move. Now, because we're at war, that's when the zone of control kicks in. So I actually did this in the wrong order, and this is not going to work. So, carry on. Make peace. Alright, you're upset. And everyone else will be upset, that's fine. I had to be standing next to them first, which I was not. So they're going to be very upset. Yes, I'll withdraw immediately. Yes, yes. And that'll make them happy that I always forget about that zone of control with city. It doesn't come up too often when you're fighting against other civs. Only in the very early game when you steal that settler. Or steal that worker. Do you have one yet? Fortunately, there's another one right here. That's a caravan. We'll get there eventually. When we've cleared out our worker problem, or our barbarian problem, we'll start trading with Buenos Aires. Or Hong Kong. So you already have one out, so you can't be too far behind there. Alright, next tradition policy. A free culture building my first 4 cities, which in new cities would mean a free monument. In my city, that means a free building we haven't seen yet. Meaning, and since I don't have it unlocked, this actually does nothing. So this is another empty tradition slot. You have to fight your way, clawing tooth and nail through these two, before you get to the good stuff.
He who destroys a good book kills reason itself.
So I'm actually really surprised this hasn't been built yet. Usually by turn 30, this has already been made. Yes, as soon as I get that research that opens the next culture building, I will just get it for free in my capital. So it's a payoff for later. It's not completely dead. It's just gonna take a while for it to do anything. The library, for every 2 citizens you have, you get 1 more science, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I have 3, so if I made a library, that would give me 1 more science, which, you know, that's still a decent percentage when you're only making 7. Hello, Samarkand. And for somehow no one met him yet? He never made his way north. Cool. It's a good policy for later. It just doesn't do anything right now. It's empty. Alright, next up. So now we're at a pretty open spot. I do want masonry for when we get that worker. We'll get that worker in either when we steal it and drag him over, or when we buy one. Never waste time making a worker. Alright, we have our second archer. Now we're gonna make our settler. Could finish the granary, but we're doing okay. Actually, I want to wait 3 turns. We're only 3 turns away from our 4th person. So I want to wait 3 turns and then, because when you're building a settler, as it says here, the growth is stopped. So we'll put 3 more turns into the granary. We put 1 turn earlier, we could put 3 more in. Hello. Where are you from? So it takes 1 turn for them to shoot, so they can move once and then shoot. Now, even though they are ranged, they do not return fire. I find that strange that ranged units don't return fire even if they have line of sight. But that's just one of the ways that ranged units become even better. And now these men, when you heal, this is just graphical. The men will respawn when I heal up my archers later. So up top right here is diplomacy. I think there was someone I met who I didn't make a... Yeah, Pachacuti. I didn't get an embassy with them when I met them, because they didn't have it. They still don't have writing. That 30 gold goes a ways towards that free worker. It is a cool effect to see them, though. Because my garrison unit is free, I just tossed him back in there. Hey, another wonder. Old Faithful. Old Faithful was a geyser found in Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, United States of America. First seen by Europeans in 1870 and by natives some 10,000 years before that. I like that little, they've been here this whole time. Old Faithful was thus named because of the regularity of its eruption. The geyser shoots a column of boiling water to a height of some 175,000 feet every 60 to 90 minutes, the interval determined by the ferocity of the previous eruption. Geysers occur when subterranean water hits magma, molten rock. The waters instantly turn to steam, which rushes out the next available opening at tremendously high pressure. Old Faithful and the other 250 geysers in Yellowstone are enjoyed by some 3 million visitors each year. No, I've never been to. I've never seen any of these. Is the Grand Canyon in this? I've flown over the Grand Canyon. Oh, hey. I usually play entirely on strategic mode because it just runs fastest that way, and I think it's easier to see. So I always miss this detail. That's really nice. Okay, so our archer got shot. I look forward to seeing the additions of Civ 6. Hey, look at that, we're climbing in the ranks, despite not having a worker and not doing anything. Oh, and the city grew. Alright, so much for the 3 turns. Cool. So 44 turns for the next one. This is a good time to stop and teleports them. Like randomly. Alright, so here we have a promoted unit here. This first one, you really want to avoid clicking this button ever unless you absolutely need to do it to keep the unit alive. Oh, that's actually really hilarious about the Bermuda Triangle. Next to all this does is it heals you 50 health. Every unit in the game has 100. And this will eat up the entire promotion. Here, this is their experience bar. It's X amount of experience to gain a level. Little RPG element to it. It's kind of neat. These two here, we got barrage and accuracy. It's just 15% damage against units that are standing in rough terrain or open terrain. And you can take them down one path or the other. You really shouldn't go back and forth. It's just really good to double down in one. And given that this place, the battle we're going to have is either going to happen in this open field or up here in the hills. So we're going to go with the rough terrain. And we'll see how that works out. Now, it won't matter here, because one shot and he's dead. Now, you can just right-click here, but I find right-clicking to be very unreliable, depending on who you have, the type of enemy, type of unit you have selected. Your units have other options. You can just move, do nothing. That doesn't consume their turn, though. So you could still come back to it. Most natural wonders in Civ 5 are very underwhelming. Although this one here is not bad. The 10 gold, that's pretty good. We're only making 6. So if we were to beat up whatever Civ has this one and take it. And there's one that gives like a lot of hammers. That's pretty good. Let's see. So let's go ahead and finish off this guy. That's some good archery, guys. Every single one of you hit the same man. Alright, and up here, another camp. We'll just keep wandering about. And this is what I clicked before. Now, standing within your borders, you heal more per turn than outside. Still no worker. Looks like we're going to be buying that worker because I messed this up. Oh well. These things happen. It is weird that you don't have one yet, Quebec City. Alright, so we found our 30 turns with Shaka's finally up. Pachakudi, do you have writing yet? No. Pachakudi, what are you doing? I am surprised the great... Hold on, really? Yeah, no one's made the... No one has yet made the, Great Library. Remarkable. Now, caravans, they're just there. Only in times of war does it matter if you're standing on that tile. I just wanted to show that off while they're wandering back and forth. In a few turns, we're just gonna purchase our worker. All right, so we've reached the point where we want to get our settler. Yeah, the game is telling us, hey, build the Great Library, 24 turns. But that's not gonna happen. The Great Library, it gives you a scientist point, 2 works of writing slots, extra science, extra culture, and a free technology and a free library. It is obscene. However, well, the AI guns for this real hard. So we want to build our settler. Now, what I don't want to do is waste any of our time on food now. We just need enough that we're not going to starve. So everyone max hammers right now. Pure focus, which we only have one that has 2 hammers. Otherwise... Oh, I still get plenty of wonders on Emperor. It's just never that one unless I get super lucky with the...
How happy are those whose walls already rise?
Like, if we were stuck on this desert, 100% getting Petra. Still, no... Well, computer AI, I'd imagine, is very hard to program. Now that we're losing that gold per turn, we're gonna... Yeah, you go there. Let's get that extra gold for now. We can just build our settler as fast as possible, not wasting any time on food that's not doing anything. I usually get a few wonders, even on Immortal. But the big one is Petra. The one that makes desert tiles 1 food, 1 production. Which is amazing. Alright, let's see if we have any iron nearby, since we don't have any horses yet, so we're not going to actually be able to capitalize on our horse archers. Alright, so here, Pachacuties enter the classical era. That means Pachacuti has a technology somewhere along this line. So he's doing okay. He's up there. Quebec City. Really. Hello? Elephants. Maybe this was Quebec City's worker. And they took it. So we're gonna go beat up these barbarians. Sweet. Alright. You're not gonna get there in time, but yeah, whatever. Begin the trek. Ife is under attack from barbarians. Don't care. Surprisingly, they didn't attack me with their range, but... So here, finally, melee damage. So we're going to take some damage attacking them. We're going to take more than we would out in the field, because they get 40% for being behind their walls. So they're a palisade of sticks in the ground. But we're still going to come out on top here. The tricky thing is that they're going to be able to attack me back without repercussion. Alright, we've made enough gold. Let's go ahead and buy our worker. Now, purchased units do not... you can't use them the turn they appear. Okay, so they're shooting me for free. They did 24 damage. So we're going to get our bonus to open fields because they're on an open field and we need that right now. Excellent. We got them all. And we captured a worker. Now, that worker must have belonged to this city-state. If it had belonged to Quebec City, then I would have had the option to return it to them and get a boatload of influence. We're already friends just from that. And they'll be even happier if we can find another natural wonder. This is a barbarian boat. Usually it's not a problem. We never made our way this way. The scout's gonna work his way around the world. And you're going to escort this guy home. We're still doing okay on happiness, but I'm still gonna upgrade the spices first. Just because we're gonna start running low on gold as all of the gold per turns run out. So when you're escorting a worker, do it manually. Because at any point there could be a barbarian that wants to take it back. Fortunately, we have 2 cities to protect us from barbarians on the way. They'll still shoot the barbarians even though we're gonna walk through there and they're gonna get even angrier. So we get a little view, Sukhothai here. It's got a worker, warrior, 2 archers. Doesn't seem that far ahead of us. Pachacuti, do you have writing yet? No. So he's made it to the classical era. He just doesn't have writing. Alright, so we did need to remove the forest for the spices. So they're going to work on that for a while. A barbarian did come through here at some point, so I'm just going to have him stand there for a little bit. Because our settler needs to work his way north. If I see a barbarian, I'll probably stop and hunker down and have our warrior heal before trying to engage. Alright, so here's a really annoying enemy. The barbarian hand axe. So they throw these axes. They only have a 1 range, but with 9 strength, they're more powerful than your warrior, and they can tear through an archer. They are a real pain in the butt. This is just historical info about axes. They are an addition to this expansion pack of Brave New World, along with the briefcases that I don't find fun. Oh, okay, they have even more than that. They have 2 spearmen and 2 warriors. So they're pretty powerful sitting here at the moment. And another archer up there. For a non-playing enemy, that took a lot of damage to bring him down.
With a spear 11 cubits long in his hand, the bronze point gleamed in front of him and was fastened to the shaft of the spear by a ring of gold.
Alright, so now we can see if we have any iron nearby. Easiest way to see is pop open strategic mode. Alright, so there is iron right nearby. 6 iron. Would be very useful if we were playing on a boat map of any kind. Oh hey, we stretched out and grabbed those horses. We are shaping out here quite nice. It's like looking at the clouds. What do you see? And that's it for iron nearby. Now, walking over a river also consumes a walking point. But because this is our second one, We can't go in the negative, so we'll be able to get there just fine. Next culture. Now, the really good stuff that's actually going to hit us right now. 10% growth and 2 food in the capital. 1 gold and 1 unhappiness away for every 2 people. This is going to allow you to get big without worrying about happiness. This is why you don't go Liberty, because if you have more than 4 people in your cities are going to be terrible. So, if you have the happiness to spare, go growth. Just get more people. If you're starting to hurt on happiness, all right, by the time you get this, grab monarchy. We're doing okay, so I'm going to grab the food. Despite it not doing anything for only 2 turns. Next up, horses are on the way. So, yeah, let's grab the horse archers. We're going to grab that next. With the horse archers, we're going to be able to take... Yeah, we could... With 4 horse archers, we could easily take all of this. With 2 of them, we could take most of this. These 2 are about to have it out, because the Zulu just decided to park themselves. How would you even... gun love. Sure. Sukhothai here and Zulu. Zulu?
Bayete.
He's fit. Not wearing shoes. Not even sandals. They're gonna have it out soon. So maybe when they're done fighting, we can sweep in there. Or make friends with Sukhothai to take out the Zulu.
ยินดีต้อนรับเรากำลังฟังอยู่
Want to be friends?
บอกว่า
No. Okay. Oh well. Now they're gonna be upset that we're standing here. I don't care. Alright, and everything's back because we have the settler selected. It thinks we should go here. That's a tricky thing to agree with because I haven't scouted over here yet. Alright, it wants me to go here because of iron. I prefer to be on the hill for the extra production. And security. We sit here, we'll eventually tendril out. It's only 2 iron. So make sure to escort your settlers when they're making their way out. You don't want them grabbed by a barbarian. I'm still gonna go here for my normal plan, but I'll have them sweep out and see what's over there. So things have opened up quite a bit since then. First thing I want to do, I want to put us back on default focus. 6 apples. Alright, unlock that. If you select something, it'll do that one and forever do that one. Unemployed citizens, they give 1 hammer and that's it. It's almost always better to just select them so they can get back out in the field. Do a thing. We have a lot of things we want this worker to do. We need horses, we need the marble. He's gonna be busy. So now with only 4 people, 2 science, that's alright. One wonder that you're almost guaranteed to get. If you want one, even on Immortal, and I've gotten this one a couple times on Deity too. But sometimes a Deity, they start with 2 cities. They start with a ton of stuff. They start with 2 workers. It's ridiculous. I've only beaten a couple Deity games. I don't find it fun. They cheat way too hard. They'll just grab whatever wonder just because they can. But here, every time a great person is expended, you get $100. That adds up. For every marble and stone, you get 2 extra gold. We have marble here. Someday we might even reach out to this stone. This would actually be a really good wonder. I do want to first... When did we finish the granary? I was just putting points into it. Okay, well, good. The granary's in. Yeah, so that's producing 3 food. I am running low on money though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the caravan first, and then go back for the mausoleum. Caravan, we'll talk about trade in a moment in 9 turns. Yep, with their entire army, these hand axes are still giving them a pain in the butt. Alright, let's continue to scout this area. Stand up on the hill so we can see a little better. I'm not agreeing with you here. So in 2 turns, we'll take 1 turn to move up onto the hill. Next turn to blow down the city. Well, there's the hand axe. We're gonna need to take care of that. They might come out here and severely damage the scout. We'll see. It looks like we're gonna make it back without incident. Excellent. Good day. Okay, so it wants me to go over here because there's dyes over here. And that's another luxury. This could just as well be a 3rd city if it's not too close to here. Although on this hill, I would also get the chocolate, the dyes, eventually the spices. Yeah, let's go this hill then. Why is this jungle hill not producing production, but the grassland hill is? Interesting. Alright, shiny things the most. This is how much gold does everyone have right now in their stores? Some people have quite a few gold. We have not much monies, as we have recently spent it. Alright, we're gonna need help up there. You're gonna sit in the city and recover? You're gonna fix our money problem. We have 30 turns to get our money problem under control. If I step up, they will most likely step over and take me, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to just do nothing here. If I go gold, I will lose food. And I want to continue to grow. Growing is most important. That is long-term growth. Goodness. We are not in danger anytime soon. 30 turns. We've only been playing for 51. Alright, so now it looks like I'm going back to my original plan. Up here is spawned another spearman, so there's a hand axe in there with a spearman poking out. So we're going back to our original plan. We're hopping up on this hill, we're going to throw down the city. Because we're not going to clear him by the time he starts to come down. Alright, next up. We can ignore the top water. The top is like boating. We can ignore that for a very long time now. One of my favorite units in the game, just generically, is the composite bowmen. They are very powerful, and they stay that way for quite a long time. Alright, so you may have noticed our happiness just jumped up to 9. Because we now have spices coming our way. So with this turn, the worker finished his spices. I'm going to have him fortify till he's healed. Obamba. They're fine. They're less fine. Alright, quick. Throw down the city. And Guangzhou. So they're gonna spend their next turn coming down. So we're gonna try to bait them a little bit. And our gold problem's fixed just from the spices alone. In fact, one thing I want to do is I want to tell them, because now it's 1 food, 1 gold, 3 gold. Work this tile forever. Don't stop working this tile. So a new place, it's gonna be very small. We got an extra production from being on this hill. So things here aren't, they're taking a long time, but not foreverly long. Forever long. Because of the nature of who my neighbor is, I'm just going to turn on walls and forget about this city for a very long time. Eventually they'll grow, and these numbers will drop dramatically. Okay, pop open a quarry, get some production on there. Marble is also a luxury resource. Okay, so it worked. They're pushing forward. Oh, good day. Goodbye. So now we can both take a shot. Now they could step here and then attack my archers, which could kill them. They might be weak enough. As your melee units, as your units drop in health, their damage output goes down. So it's possible that if he steps into these archers, he won't be able to kill them, and he'll be able to run away. Go risky. Perfect. With 9 health remaining. Yeah, plenty of leeway. Yeah, just get out of there. And there's another one there, but that's fine. He's just gonna run back home. Let's connect those horses. They're attacking the city. You don't often see barbarians attack a city. Very interesting. Like, rarely ever. Alright, time for you to go help. And they're now close enough, the city could shoot them. Let's just give the archers the experience. Between the choice of melee and range, I will always give the experience to the range. Alright, now, trade, caravan. So, we can change what city they're moving out of. He's currently in Attila's court, we want to leave him in Attila's court. Selecting established trade route will then pick where they go. And you'll see a little line on the map drawn as to what direction it's going to go in. The thing to note is that if you're at war with someone, they can pillage your trade route, and these 9 turns we took making it were wasted. It's gone. If a barbarian gets it, it's gone. We have to keep that in mind. You could trade with yourself. I could just give more food to Guangzhou and get it real big. I could send it to Nabamba, and we'll each get a science. And I will... Left is... I want to say left is me, right is them. the numbers here, like the actual thing here doesn't match, really, but left is us, right is them. So they'll get a gold in a science, we get 2 gold a science. However, right now what we need, there is a barbarian camp there, which could be risky to send it to Hong Kong. One thing we could do is pop open diplomacy and scroll down. Here is going to see all the things that these guys want us to do. If we see this icon somewhere, that means they want a trade route, which is a very easy thing to give a city-state. They all want to be saved from barbarians. That's what they all currently want, for the most part. Sometimes they just want you to do things that will incidentally happen or not. No one wants one of those, so the best one for us will either be Buenos Aires because it's safest. There's no barbarians right here. Or Hong Kong and hope he doesn't manage to put his face right here. Nobamba would be tricky. Ife would be safe too. Nobamba, because of this nest, they could get between us. So we're gonna go Hong Kong so we get 4 gold. Off you go then. Alright, and then we're gonna come back to the mausoleum. Because we have marble, and we might tendril out to the stone someday. So sure, 2 more gold on top of this? 55 turns in, no one's built the Great Library. What is this? Where do we live? Now, because I'm gonna see, is there anything I can do to speed this up? It doesn't look like it. We're actually already using all the hammers we can. I would speed this up not to get it before someone else, but I would speed it up just to get these 17 turn tons faster. But we don't have any way to do that at the moment. You could set up a queue and add to queue. I like to just do things like if you have a city somewhere that you want to just produce a bunch of things and then come back to it later, you can. The game offers some decent ways to macro manage. Pakachuti, do you have writing yet? He still doesn't have writing. Remarkable. Alright, gold from Askia and Ramyakyong is done. That's fine, we're making our own money now. Keep working your way up. We have some work to do up here. We have to clear out that barbarian nest. If it's spawning spearmen and hammed axes, that's going to be rough for us to handle. A worker. If you weren't so far away, I'd be tempted to go to war with Korea to grab that worker. I like to plop them in the city to heal them, just because, well, it makes them free while they're in there. So usually what I do when taking out nests is I'll throw my warrior in there and just have him stand there while the archer does the actual fighting. And I boosted you in open terrain, so you want to sit here. You should be able to shoot him from this hill. Or they'll clear it on their own. Should have had him step up then, because then I could actually get the money from clearing the camp. Oh well. Alright, so our happiness is improved from having marble now. 3 hammers on that iron. Let's go. So yeah, you drop from 17 to 9 because they're now working those hammers. And neither of you will get there in time. Ah, but that does let me see this hand axe, which I can't shoot over these 2 hills. Oh well. If he runs in there and they don't finish him off, you guys get him. That poor man. Oh well, they got 25 bucks for it, whatever. I have a camp over here to clear out for a Ragusa. These 2 are going to be on national security for a bit. Hey, Bucharest. 15 free dollars. So it could be beneficial to have gotten a second scout, but really everything in my actual interest is right here, visible within a warrior going out and coming back, and then setting the scout around. If you're using islands of any kind, I would definitely not get a second scout. You may not even want a first scout, really, depending on how big the island turns out to be. Alright, we have the horse. Time to finally upgrade this wheat. And then we're going to come up here and build Guanju.
Three things are to be looked to in a building. That it stand on the right spot, that it be securely founded, that it be successfully executed. The king's might is greater than human, and his arm is very long.
Alright, so we have now finally reached another... classical... we've reached the next era. That just means that we've crossed this... imaginary threshold that the game set up. All it does is let the AI know that we're in a new era. That's all. It's another way you can keep track, kinda, of where other people are in tech. And now that we have composite bone, we can take our archers and upgrade them. 80 gold, though, so that's a lot of money. And that's really what money's for, so... go ahead and upgrade him. We don't have the cash to do both of you. We're gonna come clear out this camp. Send the full force out there. And next up. Now, if we were planning on actually tearing everyone down, if you were not the Zulu, then I would 100% be like, hey, I'm coming to knock down your door. In fact, you have dyes. I'm going to have dyes eventually. Now, unless they are also warmongers, other civs hate when you do any war. Like, if I was to attack someone, if I were to go beat up Ramchong, Shaka would be upset that I'm living next to him, not that I went to war, because he's also a fightman. Askia too, wherever he lives, because I didn't bother getting anyone's embassies. You finally have writing. Hey, buddy. Thanks. So it's looking like war is going to come later in the game here then. Instead of using any, we don't get a chance to see any of their powerful units. I'll make a horse archer. Probably 2. Okay. So the next thing we want to go for, how are we doing money-wise? We're doing good money, we're doing good happiness. Yeah, I'll pick up philosophy. So, the Oracle is a really good wonder. It's a free social policy, and culture, and great scientist point. And the AI tends to ignore it for the most part. So let's pick that next. That will give us 16 turns to it, 5 turns to build this. We'll build the horse archer. Then we'll build the library.
동지여.
Sejong wants to be
방해해야 할
friends.
것이 많고 서로에게 얻을 수 있는 것이 많소.
Yeah, let's be buddies. Wave of the hand at you too, buddy. So our first friend, up in this general direction. The Incas may have already taken care of this camp. And at this point, I'm just going to tell him to auto-explore. He's going to do his own thing. We won't be hearing from him anymore unless he finds himself trapped. Alright, so that he's cleared that out already. You can go home. I have yet to meet... Oh yeah, I've met Ragusa, okay. We have these soldiers and nothing to do with them, so is anyone still getting invaded? Bucharest? Too far away. Hong Kong, that's just down here, yeah. So we're going to send them down here this way. You're going to see the score fluctuate a lot. It's based off of a lot of... Hey, thanks for the follow. It's based off a lot of nonsensical things. Number of cities is one of the big things. Are you not going to read it? Okay. The whole earth is the tomb of heroic men, and their story is not given only on stone over their clay, but abides everywhere without visible symbol woven into the stuff of other men's lives. Pericles. Normally the narrator will read that. So, we have our first wonder. The Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. Real neat looking. Every time we get a great person and we use them up, 100 gold. That'll add up nicely to 1,000, 2,000 gold over the course of the game. And marble and stone gets extra 2 gold, so this is now 4 gold. When we have enough people for it, when we're actually using this tile, it's gonna be real nice. Alright, let's get up there and let's get that chocolate. Actually, I do want you sitting in Gwangju. Alright, next up, what did I say? Turn 67, no one's grabbed the Great Library. You know what? 9 turns. I've seen it gotten by turn 30. This is Emperor. Alright. 9 turns away. Well, I might be able to show off here what happens if you're working on a wonder. Because there can only be... The thing about wonders is there can only be one of these in the entire world. So because I grabbed the Museum of Halicarnassus, no one else can grab the Museum of Halicarnassus. So I might get to show off what happens if you're working on it when someone else grabs it. Alright, let's see. The next priority... Let's upgrade the bananas so Gwangju will grow faster. And our next policy. Normally I would say grab monarchy, but we're actually building wonders right now. 15% more wonders, 15% faster when building wonders. And 1 happiness for every 10. The 1 happiness for every 10 you get maybe at the end of the game. If you go tall, you might get 3 happiness for it. It's whatever. Like, we just got 2, because like, it gives you 1 for the first 10. That won't really come up, but it's there. And you just kind of sit there on watch. The fact that my workers will be up here is going to attract barbarians. That's nowhere near where I care. The demanding, every city wants a resource. If I actually get sugar, they'll get super happy and they'll get a bonus to food, making them grow faster. And that one wants gems. 6 turns. Nice. Nice. I haven't gotten the Great Library in an advanced AI game in so long. I don't even remember the quote for it anymore. I'm coming for you. So Hong Kong there, chilling with their cavalry archer or chariot archers. Boost these bananas. Nice, everywhere. Good times. All right, so Ram Hong Kong here, as he wants to go to war with Shaka. We can go right away. Say 10 turns and we'll get at it. I'll get upset at him for asking, or just politely say no. This is very tempting. I want to go to war with Shaka Zulu. I want to get him off the map before he builds up a big army and comes after me. I want to get rid of Ram Han Kyong, which we go to war, he goes to war, we get to sit back and watch them beat each other up. 10 turns. So in 10 turns, we won't have the walls yet. We will have 2 composite bowmen. And in 4 turns, the Great Library. Alright, so that is the sound you hear when an AI builds a wonder. Someone has built Stonehenge. And we can actually see. We pull up the diplomacy overview and click global politics. We'll see who built Stonehenge. Askia built Stonehenge. It turns 72. That's the sound I've been waiting for to hear this. Now, even though they killed the barbarians, we took the camp. Means we got the bonus for Hong Kong. They are now our ally, meaning we're going to get 2 happiness, and they're giving me horses, silk, and porcelain. Every turn, the influence drops 1, so we're only going to be allies this turn, but good to know you, buddy. Alright, so you're going to work your way up back up north. We're going to go to war with the Zulu. What we're going to do is we're going to sit here with our archers and shoot them as they come across the jungle. We are not going to participate in this war. Alright, so all that happiness was from being allies with Hong Kong. And they want a new natural wonder, which the scout... they're not going to ask for that if there isn't any left. So the scout is bound to find it eventually, unless it's one of the ocean ones. The scout's not going to come across that. Alright, 10 turns. We're going to be close to walls by the time the Zulu come after us. And allies means if you go to war, they will fight your battles with you. Could be useful if I would get Ife on my side. If the Zulu decided to come around this side of the mountain, the Ife would distract them. 1 turn away from the Great Library. What is this? Where am I today? My god. I guess he's not reading them anymore. Alright. Libraries are as the shrine where all the relics of the ancient saints, full of true virtue, and all that, without delusion or imposture, are preserved and reposed. Sir Francis Bacon. This is amazing. This doesn't happen. Our own emperor. Okay, we got the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus first, and then came back to this. Incredible. And here's our list every 25 turns of something, randomly. Most well-fed people. How much food do we have?
There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance.
He read that. So, that was coincidence that I got this technology then? But now I get a free technology. Incredible.